right. I think we should be close. All right, 3, 2, 1. I reckon the countdown timer can go. I think the stream starts thingy can go. I think my logo can go up. And I think we can rock and roll from here. Hey guys, Steve Salvia here. Welcome to today's session. Harness productivity hacks is what we're all about. Today's session is all about how to harness your productivity, get you more productive, as my young bloke just brings in my cup of coffee. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, really jazzed about this session today. It's one of our quick win sessions, so really looking forward to doing that with you. Jazzed to be here. I'm back in the driver's seat. Looking forward to these things every second Thursday. Really stoked about the topic that we've got today and what we'll be covering off. I think it's something that I know for a fact that a heap of you guys out there in financial planner land have been struggling with, and lots of financial planners out there are, really sort of drowning in the stuff that they need to do, or actually probably more so the stuff that they think they need to do. So you're going to love this training if you want to get more done in less time with a better return on effort that you've ever had before. That's basically where we're going. In fact, I'm going to make sure that you are super focused on the things that you should be doing and focus more of your time and more of your attention, more of your energy into what I call the core income producing activities. You know, the things that you're best at, the things that make you, that drive you, that give you energy, and the things that grow your business, and the things that bring in your income as well. Okay, so that's kind of where we're heading. I'm just going to flip over here. Might get rid of that. I might, let's get this slide thingy on the screen. Just let me set this up for 1 second, guys. Get my head so I can see what's going on in there. That's cool. And we should be sweet and good to go. So, guys, like I said, this is one of our quick win sessions. Thank you so much for joining us. It's all about harnessing productivity hacks, right? So exactly what we want to do is to make sure that we know we've at least got a list of things that we could do that are really quick, really don't cost any money, you don't need to spend too much time on, just some really quick things that you can get and sort of saddle up on your horse and get implemented into your business really quickly and efficiently. So team, guys, what it actually is here is that every single month at Coaching Club we work to what we call one of the 6 core pillars. And I just want to one of the 6 core pillars. And basically April is what we call a delivery month. And there's 3 activators behind each one of the 6 core pillars. You can see them on the left-hand side there. Your business model, your prospect attraction, client conversion, turning prospects into clients. Then once you've got the client, you've got to then deliver. And then once you've got that, you can go out there and really powerfully and confidently build your referral process. And then it's all about marketing, and it's all about scaling up your business. And 3 activators that work for each one of those. Number 1, it's around mapping your processes, making sure you've got processes set up for each and everything. There's nothing ad hoc. You know exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, exactly what order it happens. So we've got processes mapped out rather than sort of trying to wing it, number 1. Number 2, we want to make sure we design on-ramps. So there's 2 different sorts of on-ramps, team. There's an on-ramp for people who are new to your business. So we need to make sure that we've got an on-ramp process that really smoothly and professionally gets people from not knowing you or hearing your name before, all the way through to being clients in your business. But then we've got what we call a second on-ramp. Well, we call it the second 100. And the second 100 starts about a month out from annual review. Now, there's some touch points and some nurture that you do along the way, but but about a month out from review, there's another ball that starts rolling, right? And we call that the second 100, and that's kind of the second sort of on-ramp there that we talk about. So we want to have a system and a process for all of those things. And then the third thing around delivery is empowering your team. So really, really important that you, as the financial planner, as the income producer, as the sort of the face or the front end of the business, isn't stuck doing all the things that you're doing right now and being stuck in the backstage of the business. So we need you out the front, on stage, and we need other stuff to be getting done for you so that you can really deliver and deliver really, really well. And today's harness productivity hacks basically revolves around. It's one of the things that we do. It's one of the matrix inside the mapping your processes. Okay, so guys, we have got a worksheet for this as well. So if you'd like a copy of the worksheets, just maybe just type in the word worksheet. I've got my webinar wingman JD looking out on all the various channels. So if you'd like a copy of the worksheet, just type in the word worksheet underneath this video and we'll make sure we get one out to you. If you're watching this on my Facebook, on my page or on my website, I think there's a button just underneath this video on the right hand side of this video. There should be a download worksheet button. Maybe it's underneath, I don't know. You'll find it, right? It's got a picture of this worksheet that you can see right here, and you can download that worksheet from there. If you haven't got the worksheet now, just grab yourself plenty of pens, plenty of paper, and ask for the worksheet anyway. We'll send it out because it's got a few tools in there, but you can just draw on a piece of paper and then you can catch up later, okay? So the thing about this is that, so if we're talking about productivity hacks, and let's get into the base. So there's a big problem that comes up. I reckon if you sum it all up, team, and also from kind of my own experience, 22 years as a financial planner. I've been sort of coaching financial planners now for 7 or 8 years, nearly 8 years now. So 30 odd years experience. I reckon there's 5 big places where most financial planners actually get caught out when it comes to productivity and getting all this stuff done. And I'd love you to jot these things down. And I want you to have a think about it as I talk about them. How many of these things actually turn up in your world as well? Which ones of these, or how many of these in reality are actually turning up for you? So the first issue we've got with most financial planners, and I don't know if you're feeling this way, but a lot of financial planners that I speak to are, the first one is overwhelm, right? You feel like you've got just too much to do, not enough time to do it in. You've got so much on your plate. You're doing front end things, you're doing back end things, you're doing kind of anything in the middle as well. And there's just too much that needs to be done. I'm sure you can relate to that, right? You've got so much stuff to do, so many ideas, so many projects that need to get done, let alone all the client work and all the tasks that need to be done, that you've got more stuff that you can possibly deal with. So that's number one. Number two, the second one is getting distracted. New shiny objects, or maybe just zoning out a little bit because we're a little bit overwhelmed. It's kind of hard to see the forest for the trees. So you kind of zone out a little bit and you think to yourself after 10, 15 minutes, it's what seems like 1 minute ends up being 10, 15, 20, and you kind of zone out because you're just you've got so much stuff to do. And I think it's really, really hard, especially because with all the stuff that's going on, all of the things that you've got to do, all the compliance, all the new regime, Royal Commission, all that stuff. There's just so much more to do as a financial planner. You know that as well as I do. And the thing is, it's not all bad stuff. There's a lot of important things and good stuff that needs to be done by you, and it's easy to get sort of caught jumping from one good thing to another necessary thing to another important thing, and it's kind of really hard to stay on task. Because, especially when you've had a full day full of appointments and you've got a pile of files sort of over here sitting on the floor or on the other desk in your room there, kind of staring at you, and every time you walk past it, it's taunting you and teasing you and kind of looking at you with all this work that you've got to do, and you kind of walk past it and you don't want to look at it because it's sort of staring at you in the face and teasing you a little bit as well, okay? So, we get a little bit distracted. And what happens is that it just gets worse and worse and worse. Third thing, really important, and I'm sure you've seen this before, it's kind of what I call inconsistency. And I think this one's huge, to be honest. You've got the power to be such a bright light in your world, in your client's world, in your team's world. But the reality is, with all this other stuff that's going on, sometimes you're on and sometimes you're off. And what I'm finding is, because we're so overwhelmed and there's, it's so frustrating, a lot of the time we're off. Okay, so think about that for yourself. Number 4, big one, right? I know I can relate to this one. It's perfectionism. And perfectionism is basically, you want everything to be 100%, 100%. it's never going to, it's never right. It takes you so long to get it right. You're not going to send anything out of that. Email's not going to go out, or that marketing video's not going to go out, or the lead magnet that you've created is not going to go out. You know, it's got to be 100% before you hit send or you put it out there, or you even show a client. And the reality is you're chasing 100%, and you know what? You'll never get to 100%. You just won't get to that 100% mark. It's never going to happen. But we try and we try and make it perfect, but it's never going to be perfect. Just guys, just as a side issue, just write this down, guys. Don't let perfect get in the way of better, right? Don't let perfect get in the way of better. If we're constantly in this pursuit of perfection and it's got to be absolutely perfect before we do something with it, you're never going to do anything because it's never going to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, right? So don't let perfect get in the way of better. So that's number 4, perfectionism. And number 5, really important, some people are like this, and I say this a lot. Some people, they're great at starting stuff, but they don't seem to finish anything, right? They've got all these things half done, you know, they've got a ton of half done projects or half done ideas that seem to get started, but they don't seem to get finished. Right? They just don't ever get finished, and it's a big issue. It's a bigger issue than you think it is. It's happening more and more and more and more, right? And what happens is you end up feeling a little bit guilty about it as well, and that's what kind of happens day to day. So I'm just going to check with JD. Am I good, JD? Can you see me? Okay. Hopefully I'm all good to rock and roll. So guys, what it is, so I think if you sum it all up, I'll just go back here. I think if you sum it all up, we've got, there's 5 things. There's kind of overwhelm. There's that getting distracted on a regular basis, and half of that is you don't even know you're getting distracted, you just do, right? There's a little bit of inconsistency. The light is more off than it is on. Wanting everything perfect is a big thing. And kind of the other one I talked about was kind of starting, not finishing. And that's, like I said, we end up with this massive pressure on ourselves, team. We end up with, you know, especially as financial planners, you know, we're meant to be the experts. Financial planners are the people who are meant to know everything, right? People come to you for advice. You know, financial planners aren't normally the question asker, they're the question answerer. And the reality is, in your mind, you know, aren't you supposed to have your act together? Yeah, so you end up feeling a little bit guilty about it, and it's a bad thing that happens, because you shouldn't feel guilty about it at all. It's just some little tweaks, or maybe some little hacks that you need to do, or that you can do to sort this thing. And then you come onto a webinar like this, and you know, I say you could be doing this, and you should be doing this other thing, and you know intrinsically you know about productivity. And you know that you need to be more productive, and you need to free up more capacity, and you shouldn't be doing all the things that you're potentially doing. So what happens then is you come onto something like this and you beat yourself up even more, because you're sitting there thinking, holy crap, out of those 5, Steve said which one of these are relevant to me, and it was kind of all 5. And it is. It's a bit of a hard game that you play, right? So like I said, it's not all bad stuff. You've got to do it. And I don't want you to feel guilty anymore. So let's just make a pact, you and me right now. Let's not feel guilty, okay? There's some things that we can do, really, really simple, really, really easy things that we can sort of get some clear space, you know, breathe a little bit, and just sort of free up a little bit of time, a little bit of capacity with some simple little tweaks to what you're doing, and instead of that feeling of overwhelmed and kind of feeling full. You know, I think of it, the way I sort of think of it, I haven't got a slide for it, but you know, I think you want your mind like water, right? No matter what happens, everything always kind of reverts back. Even if your mind gets full, and if your plate gets full, or if your diary gets full, or if the pile gets bigger, you know, no matter what happens, everything kind of reverts back to still. You throw a rock in the water, it has a ripple, and the ripple effect goes on for a while, but then eventually it goes back to still. And that's how I want you to be thinking about your productivity. There's you know, we want to be thinking about, you know, what's the right thing to be doing at the right time, and what is the right focus for me as part of the front stage. And then potentially what parts of the backstage can I relinquish and not be doing anymore, so that I've got more time to do the front stage, which is the things that sort of drive you and give you energy. All right, so guys, what I'd love to do, what I normally do in a full session like this, these are only sort of little mini sessions, these are little power sessions for you. So normally what I do is run through 5 keys around this, and you know, I've done a little bit of the why now. You know why you need to do this. Thinking a little bit about the philosophy, a little bit about the thinking about it. But what I'd normally talk about is there's 5 things I'd talk about. There's number 1, I'd normally talk about actually doing less. Number 1. Number 2, I'd talk about what I call sprints. Right, so setting yourself a series of small sprints rather than trying to run a marathon each and every day, each and every week, each and every month. Right, so we set ourselves a series of sprints, and there's a process we talk around that. The third thing I'd normally talk about is eliminating drag. I'd then, number 4, talk about installing hacks, and you can kind of get a sense of where we're going. You know, you can rub two sticks together and sit there for 4 hours trying to create heat and trying to create a flame, or you can get a flint, and that's a productivity hack for the bush, right? So hence the dude trying to light a fire there. And then the last one here is what I'd also talk about is this thing that I talk about is treating the water. I won't go into too much explanation, but if you think about it, if you've got a goldfish and the fish gets sick and you take it to the vet, the vet doesn't treat the fish. The vet treats the water. So the water in our case around financial planning, it's around, you know, your environment, you know, what you're working with, what tools you're working with, your ergonomics, you know, your things, you know, are things laid out properly? You know, you want to make sure that you set up the people around you are the right people as well. But this is a quick win session, team. So I'm going to walk you through just one of these elements, and then we'll go through the worksheets, and I'm going to walk you through point number 3, which is around eliminating drags. Okay, and like I said, I've got this worksheet there's a worksheet for this. If you want to download the worksheet, just type me in the word worksheet. You can we'll drop the worksheet link in for you if you need one. Otherwise, if you're watching this on my website, there's a little worksheet button underneath. You can grab the worksheet and you can kind of draw along with me. Okay. So I'm going to talk about, there's a couple, so there, I'm going to talk about, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to talk about eliminating drag, and I'm also going to talk about your productivity hacks as well, all right? So if I think this through just for a minute, what do I mean by eliminating drag? Well, what I mean by eliminating drag is that, you know, how much do you actually do, right? Well, actually, you know, the thing is, we look at this and you're thinking about all of the tasks that you do over the course of the day, right? You think about all the stuff that you do today and yesterday and tomorrow and the next day and next Thursday and every single day that you do, right? And what it's all about is figuring out what you've got going on in your day, and we want to figure out what the things that you should be doing, right? Here are the things that I should be doing as a high-end financial advisor, right? These are the things that I should be doing. This is what I was born to do. This is what I was put on the earth to do. These are the things that I should be doing day to day. And you know, each and every one of you know what those things are. So we want to figure out what you're meant to be doing. And then what you've got to figure out is the rest, right? And now you might have done this exercise a little bit, but you know, we need to take a stop for a little bit and figure out what should I be doing and what is the rest. And the rest is just stuff, okay? So we've got to figure out what we should be doing and what is just the stuff. Because then we can then decide, okay, we've got these things that I should be doing. Here's the stuff. Now what am I going to do? What am I going to do with all this stuff? And what are the things that you should be doing? Well, the things that you should be doing are the things that produce magic, right? The things that juice you, the things that give you energy, the things that produce income, the things that grow your business, the things that excite you. You know, the things that you were put on this earth to do, or the reason that you actually got into financial planning in the first place. You know, I'm pretty certain that, you know, that you wanted to get into financial planning to do things that boost your energy rather than drag your energy. Okay, and that's what we're talking about here with this eliminate drag. We want to get rid of the things that drag out your energy, right? And we want to increase or focus on the things that actually boost your energy, right? So we've got to find ways. First we're going to figure out what they are, then we're going to find ways to engineer the energy part of it and get rid of the rest. Get rid of it. Lots of different things you can do to get rid of it, okay? And you got to, so we want to boost energy, eliminate the drag, and we want to figure out also what impact that has you know, by you doing more of the things that you should be doing, what sort of impact or what sort of positive impact does that have on you and on your business with your clients and all that sort of thing? Now, I was talking to a lady, I don't know, look, probably just before Christmas, and she reached out to me and she asked me for help, and she was kind of like, talk about overwhelm. This girl was cooked, right? No, she's not a girl. She's a woman, grown woman. You know, she's been around financial planning. If I mention her name, most people would know who it is. I was surprised when I got the email and got the call. And she said, Steve, I'm at a point right now where I drive into work in the morning, pull up in the car park, and I rest my head on the steering wheel for 10 minutes before I even get out of the car and go into the office, right? And the reason I do that is because I know all the shit, all the crap that I've got to do over the course of the day. I know what's coming up, and hardly any of it is financial planner, high-end business growth, relationship building, income producing, business revenue type activity. The rest, most of it is just the stuff. So I get to work and I sit there with my head on the steering wheel for 10 minutes, dreading having to go into the office. Now, dude, that's a bad place to be, right? I don't want you to be there. I don't want to be there. And I don't want anyone in financial planning to be there. There is no way on the planet that you should be turning up to work with your head on the steering wheel and say to yourself, damn it, I don't want to be here, right? So what we want to do, I might go back. We might even, how about we do this? I might just grab I know what I can do. Bam. Yeah, okay. Right, so guys, grab your worksheet. So there's a worksheet in there. You've got a worksheet there. And what I'd love you to do is zoom down to page, I think it's page 5, right? So what I want you to do, guys, is I want you to go grab this worksheet. It's called the activity assessment. And basically what it says there, first I want you to brainstorm all the tasks that you perform in your business in this space below. So let's do this. I might band that one out like that. That's cool. So we're gonna do a brainstorm on all the different parts of your work, of your business that you perform, and here are some trigger words for you guys, and we're just going to jot in. It's a 10, 15, 20 minute exercise, and if you've got a team, guys, this is a good exercise to do with your team, maybe up even on a whiteboard, or give everyone this sheet of paper and say, right, okay, for me, for the financial planner, for the income producer, I want everyone to write a list of the things that you think that I do in this business, right? So, and it's not what you should be doing or what's just stuff. We actually just want a big list. Right. So the reality here is that we want to build a list and use the trigger words that I've got there. Right. So this is an activity. It's like an audit. It's an assessment. So you're brainstorming all the different activities that you do in your business, all the different tasks that you personally perform, anything that sort of touches your hands. Anything that you're involved in any way, shape or form, it should be going onto this list. Now, this could be something that you kind of leave up on the whiteboard, and you might leave up there for a week, and people just sort of add things to the list as you do them. You know what I mean? But what we want to do, we've got to create a list of all the stuff that you touch, so that we can then figure out which of those things that you're touching you should touch, and which of the things that you're touching you shouldn't touch. Right? So trigger words off. I think I've got some trigger words down there. It's like, this week and last week and this month, and, use words like marketing and sales or conversions and, advice. Is it strategy? Is it compliance related thing? Is it something to do with team or team management or people management, HR sort of thing? Is it something to do with technology or admin or finance or bookkeeping or anything like that? Just use those as kind of trigger words. And basically what you want to get to is a point where you've got a whole list of things all through this worksheet. You're going to write yours down. I'm not going to spend the time to help you figure out. Well, I've got a list of activities too, by the way. So if you want that list, just ask me for the list. I've got a list of all the various different job descriptions as well. So here's the things that you potentially should be doing in this role and that role and the admin role and the reception role and the financial planner role and the paraplanning role. I have actually got that, but we don't need to be that detailed. All this is about getting a list of all the different stuff that goes on in your world using those kind of prompts as a topic, right? So that's the first bit. Number one, we're gonna write down a list, brainstorm a list. And again, if it takes you a little bit of time to do it with your team, that's cool. I don't mind that at all. And then once you've done that, guys, we want to run down that list, and we kind of want to highlight in maybe, I don't know, in green, right? What are the things that boost your energy, that you enjoy, that you like doing, that you think you should be doing? What are the things in your wheelhouse that you know that you should be doing day to day? What are the things that give you energy? What are the things that produce income? What are the things that's client relationships? Whatever your definition of what you should be doing as the main income producer in your business, you want to be figuring out what are the things that do it. So you've got the things that you're doing that give you energy and the things that you want to be doing. You've also probably got some things in there that kind of zap your energy as well and take your energy away from you. Things that you lay in bed, or you turn up to work in the morning and lay your head on the steering wheel for a few minutes before you go in. The things that you just know every time you touch it, you don't want to be doing it. You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be touching it. You should. You just don't, it's not what you were meant to do. You should be giving it to someone else or handing it over or delegating it to someone else, but you just haven't done it. These are the sort of things. The things that zap your energy. That's really what we're talking about. They're the things that produce drag, right? So we really want to figure out what are the things that we should be doing, what are the things that we shouldn't be doing, and then kind of, you might have a few in-betweens. You might have some things that are kind of a bit in between where you may need to sort of transition or get rid of those out of your world as well. And here's the thing, guys, in your heart of hearts whether you should be doing this thing in your business, even if you're doing it every day and it always ends up landing on your desk. In your heart of hearts what you should be doing intellectually, right? You know what high-end financial planner work is, and you know what high-end financial planner work isn't, right? But the starting point is actually to do this assessment and do an audit of what you are doing across the board, so that you can then decide what's good and what's not, right? So once you've done that, what I want you to do, I would say, I want you to basically say, look, dude, what's the drag here, right? So I've got this next worksheet on worksheet number 6. I want you to say, okay, of those reds, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into red, and I'm going to get you to pick 3 of your reds, okay? Drag number 1, thing that I shouldn't be doing that I'm damn well doing right now. Thing number 2 and thing number 3. Maybe the 3 most important things that you're doing that you shouldn't be doing, right? You might just want to pick 3 of those things. So we're just going to take 3 for now. And then we're going to go down into the drag audit worksheet, and I'm going to get you to put drag number 1 is this, right? So number 1. Drag number 2 is this thing, and drag number 3 as a starting point is bam, right? So we're just going to put what are the top 3 drags. So we're going to go through the assessment, figure out what you should be doing, figure out what you shouldn't be doing, and then out of those things that you shouldn't be, because we want to work out, if you just do this little exercise with one, you can kind of figure it out and take it all the way through to the rest. So it's okay, what is the drag? So let's just focus on the first one here. Let's focus on the top row, right? So let's do number 1. So if you think about it, what is a drag? So I want you to have a think about your list, and I want you to write in an actual drag in this left-hand column over here for yourself. So if we've got 3, let's just work on 1. So I want for you, what is a drag? What is it? What is a drag? I'm just going to make one up here. Let's just say the drag is, I don't know, following up on admin stuff like tax file numbers or pay slips, or on bank statement. Let's say you've met with the client and they brought some of the things in because we didn't position exactly what needs to get brought in, and they brought some of the things in, but then you had to give them a damn list of things so that you could proceed with the next stage. And you've got to follow it up. Now, a lot of financial planners are actually following this stuff up themselves, and I know it sounds counterintuitive and sounds weird, but they're doing this stuff. Now, that's just an example. I want you to put in, what's your thing? What's the thing that's dragging you that you know you shouldn't be doing day to day, but you just do the damn thing anyway, right? So that's number one. Number two, I want you to jot down, what is the impact of you doing that thing? So you think about that situation there. It's low-end activity. It's taking your time away from doing all the things that you should be doing. Client-facing, income-producing, business growth, relationship building, strategic and technical planning, face-to-face client stuff, doing marketing, authority positioning, doing the things that you should be doing. So that's one of the impacts. There's going to be one or maybe two. There's going to be 2 or 3 different impacts of you doing that bad thing, right? So we want to figure out what is the actual drag. What impact is that having for you? Because hopefully I get you to say, okay, here's the thing that I know I shouldn't be doing, but I'm just doing it anyway. And here's the impact it's having. When you actually stop for a minute, do a little exercise like this, here's the actual impact that it's having in our situation. And you kind of, maybe the penny will drop, or you'll realize, holy crap, why am I doing this stuff? Why haven't I delegated this? Why haven't I found a solution for it, right? Because the third thing we want to do, okay, instead of you doing that thing, what is 1 or 2 or 3 alternatives to you doing that? So what would be a potential alternative so you can eliminate that thing from your life? Number one, you could position what people need to bring with you up front. Right, so you could install that as part of your process. So I was talking to you before about onboarding process. Part of your onboarding process is to make it absolutely crystal clear exactly what they need to bring in with them, and to make it easy for them to do so, right? So you could position it up front. What else could you do? You could delegate it. I don't see why a $280, $350 an hour financial planner needs to be calling a client and asking for a tax file number or chasing up a pay slip, right? That could be delegated to someone else. So that's another thing that's an alternative. You could outsource it, which is kind of like delegation, but you could outsource this. You could get a VA to be doing this stuff, and you could have an automated template that a VA sends, and they might have email number 1, email number 2, a little bit firmer email number 3, and they just send those things out on your behalf so that you don't have to sit there on the phone and do it. Without being rude or silly, all of these things are important. You can't run your financial planning business without it. But the thing I want you to think about is, do I need to be doing these things? And is there someone else or something else that could be doing this for me as well? The thinking I have, and just my sort of framework, and the numbers are irrelevant, but it's either a $300 an hour job or it's a $30 an hour job. And the reality is, when I ask financial planners, from a percentage point of view, from 0 to 100%, there you go. So from 0 to 100%, if I said to you, okay, what percentage of the time are you doing $300 an hour jobs, or $250 or $400 an hour jobs? And what percentage of the time are you doing $30 an hour jobs? Now, the reality is, most financial planners say to me, you know what, Steve, it's the old 80-20. I reckon I'm doing about 70 or 80% of the $30 an hour jobs, and doing 20 or 30% of the $300 and $350 an hour jobs. There's a problem with that, right? That's not going to work, and it's not going to work long term, and that's certainly not how you're not going to grow your business off the back of that. So what we need to try and do is flip that around and maybe say, okay, you can't eliminate it completely out of your life, but what if I was only doing 50% of those $30 an hour jobs, and doing 50% of $300 an hour jobs, or 70-30, or that sort of thing? What if we could flip it around a little bit? But the Pareto principle comes over and over again. So what I want you to do with the drag that you've got, that you've chosen, I want you to have a think about, okay, what's the impact of me doing those 1 or 2, doing that thing? And come up with, there's going to be 2 or 3 different impacts that it has from different, there's going to be different currencies that it affects as well. And then I want you to think about, okay, all right, dude, okay, so what I could do this, or I actually could do that, or I've been meaning to do this, but I haven't got to it yet. And I just want you to resurrect what are the alternatives to you doing that task, so that it frees you up so you don't have to do it anymore. And then from there, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to choose, right, I'm going to set something up there where I position what they need to bring in up front. So I'm going to circle that, let's say in green, right? Let's say it's that one. I'm going to work on that one first. And then so therefore, the action that I need to take I need to do this thing here. I need to create a template. I need to set it up in my CRM, and I need to set it. I need to tag it as part of the automated process that I use when we engage a new client, or when and the client's coming in for review, right? I need to engage. I need to include that in my automation process so that each and every time we get a new client coming in, they know it's becomes part of the process. You might even say, okay, what I might do is I might create a little jot form or some sort of online form where I get all this information, and I've got an upload thing there, and it says, okay, here's the list of things you need to upload for me: pay slips, tax file number, this, that, the whatever it happens to be, right? So whatever it is for you, all right. And I want you to do that with drag number 2 and drag number 3 as well. Really simple exercise, but the starting point, team, is doing this assessment, right? We've got to look at the assessment and do it. So figure out what you're doing, in what you should be doing, what are the other things that you're doing that you potentially shouldn't be doing, and what are sort of a couple of things in the middle. I want you to then highlight one or two or three of them that are kind of things that you could let go, or you could let go pretty quickly. And then thirdly, you're going to do this drag audit where it's figure out what your top drag is. I'll just change color just so you can see. How about I do pink, right? So we figure out what is one of the drags that is holding you back and slowing you down. What is the impact of that drag? And there's going to be 2 or 3, like I said, a few different currencies. What's the alternative that I could do for that thing? And then I want you to pick the one that's most relevant. And again, I want you to sort of list out a few here. I could do this. I could do that. Maybe we could do this other thing. Potentially I could automate it. I could set that up on a template. I could do whatever it happens to be in this case. And then just say, right, okay, the one I'm going to do, let's do this one. Like I said, and then I can watch your step 1, step 2, step 3, and actually get that thing done so that drag is out of your life. It's gone, right? That's done. So then once that's done, you give it a big tick, right? You give yourself a fist pump. You give your team a fist pump. You give yourself a high five and pat yourself on the back and tell yourself what a good job you did, right? That's one thing off my desk. Right, what's the next task? What's the next drag? And work through that. And then the next one and the next one. And then all of a sudden, one by one, these things that are slowing you down and dragging you are not your problem anymore, right? They're someone or something else's problem, which is fine. But what that's also done is freed up time and capacity for you to go out and do the things that you actually should be doing, which is growing the business and making money. All right. Another thing, big one here, team, is what I call the product. This was called Harness Productivity Hacks. So that was the little exercise, right? But here, this is what I call this 50 productivity hacks. Now, these are things that you and anyone can do that are really quick, really simple, barely cost any money. In fact, most of them don't cost any money whatsoever. They won't take much time. They don't cost any money. They will give you a heap of capacity and free up some very valuable time and a lot of energy for you to actually do some different things that rather than getting caught on this. And I'm just going to run through a few of these. I might just run down the list because some people might say to me, hey, what does that mean? What does this mean? Because maybe it's a little bit of Blackwing language. I don't know if that's the case or not, but let me just sort of run through a few of them and just to give you a little bit of a sense of what some of them are, and some of them are fairly basic, team. Guys, less in, more out, right? So, at the end of the day, I want you to sort of get less in. You don't need to know every single thing that happens in your business. So you don't need so much stuff coming in to your business. You need more stuff going out. So I don't want you to take on every single thing. I don't want you to what's the word? I don't want you to what's the word where you it's on the tip of my tongue. Where you enable. So I don't want you. The word is enable. The word is enable. I don't want you to enable your staff to, the second they have a problem, they come and ask you, or they leave it on your desk, or they're forever knocking on your door. You certainly want an open door policy, but if you make it to a point where people can just ask you, not really think, not do any research, not ask someone else, and the first port of call is you are the one that's enabling them to actually allow you to stop what you're doing, stop focusing on doing that strategic plan. Help that client, help your team member with a little admin role, which he or she thought was going to take a minute or 30 seconds, but ended up taking 7 minutes. And then you go back to the task that you were doing, and it takes you 3 or 4 minutes to kind of get your head back to square one. And then, of course, in the meantime, you just quickly check your Facebook, and there's an email popped up, and you're 25 minutes down the track, and then you've got to get your head back around that. Right? So what's happening is we're getting interrupted all the time. So it's less in from people, and you get more out, get more stuff to other people. Lockdown sign. Lockdown sign's a really cool one, which is basically a sign on the door when you need to stop and focus and create a financial plan. We've got a sign, laminated sign with a bit of blue tack on the back. And also, this is also good for your team as well. We used to have one of those clear, flyer stands, those clear pieces of perspex with a little stand on it. So this is good for you in your office. But if someone's like in an open work plan or got a little bench near them or something like that, they can actually put this lockdown sign up in front of them. And when the lockdown sign is up, that person or you, like let's just talk about you, that person is sacrosanct, and it says lockdown, right? I am in lockdown. Please do not disturb. I'm in lockdown. So what it says is actually, I should have got it up. What I might do, I might give you that. I might drop this in there. I'll drop this in for anyone who wants a copy of the lockdown sign. But it says, I am in lockdown from and time to time. And it's got a line there. And you just write in with a texter, right? I'm in lockdown from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., right? Because I need 90 minutes of clear focus time to work on this plan or to do this task or to make this video or to do whatever you need to do. And it says, so lockdown, I'm in lockdown from this time to this time. Number 1, please do not disturb me while I'm in lockdown. Number 2, lockdown is sacrosanct. Number 3, if you have a question, hold your question till I'm out of lockdown. Number 4, take any messages that come through, any messages whatsoever, and let them know that I'll call them back after lockdown because I'm in lockdown right now. And what happens is you have a culture within the business. If someone's got a lockdown sign up, you can't disturb them. It's just against your office policy or your office culture, right? So lockdown signs work really well because it just gives you some freed up time and a little bit of air to breathe and to actually focus on getting something done. Good for paraplanners, good for admin. Someone's got a big project that they need to. An admin person's got a big project that they need to lodge all the business. They've got to concentrate. There's important paperwork that needs to be lodged and followed up and filed and all those things. So we free it up like that. To-don't list. Don't make a to-do list every single day. Make a to-don't list. And the to-don't list is basically a list of things that you will not do. You just don't do those things. So rather than making to-do lists every day, boring to-do lists and trying to tick off all the things that you're going to do, actually make a to-don't list. These are the things that I will not ever do in my life, in my world, in my business, right? And we make a to-don't list. Fill from the middle, that's an interesting one as well, guys. The way we sort of run our calendar at Blackwing, we kind of say, okay, let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? And we kind of got, you got early, you got middle, you got kind of, you got Arvo, and then you kind of got late afternoon or evening, right? So what we try and do for all appointments, the thing that we focus on is we focus on trying to fill Wednesdays first. So when appointments come in, or someone rings up and wants an appointment, or you or one of your team members is ringing out to make an appointment, what we try and do, if we can, we try and fill Wednesday first. And once we've got Wednesday, we then might say, okay, I'm going to look at filling kind of give people an opportunity or an option to come in for half of Tuesday, and maybe like the Tuesday morning to mid-afternoon, and then maybe some options on a Thursday, on a Thursday sort of afternoon. So what we do is we fill Wednesday first, fill from the middle, right? We fill Wednesday first, then we might fill Tuesday morning, we might fill Thursday afternoon, and they become the main options that we give clients, right? Now, what happens then, if you can fill Wednesday with 3 or 4 or 5 appointments, and you can fill Tuesday sort of half a day with 2 or 3 appointments, and you can fill Thursday with sort of 2 or 3 appointments, if you can do that, that's a pretty good week, right? That's a pretty full week. And what it does by doing that, it actually frees up some time that you can think about what you want to do on a Monday and what you want to do on a Friday, right? You might say to yourself, okay, there's some people that aren't going to be able to get here on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday or Tuesday or Thursday. You might offer one appointment opportunity on a Monday afternoon, and you might have one on a Tuesday morning. That way you can have you can do whatever you want on a Monday morning, play golf, sleep in, take your wife or your husband for breakfast, do some catch-up paperwork or whatever. And what that'll also do is allow you to decide what you want to do on the Friday afternoon as well. Right? So filling from the middle, fill your Wednesday. So what I'm saying is, guys, have a process for putting appointments into the calendar. Because you know what happens. You're the income producer. You turn up to work and you look at your calendar. It's holy crap. I've got an appointment at 7 a.m. and I've got this appointment at 6:30 tonight, and I've got this other appointment on Friday at 4:30 and things like that. It's like, damn it, who's in control of my calendar? Right? So what you want to do is you want to take back control of your calendar, and you have the appointment opportunities where you want them to be, not where the client wants them to be. Now you're going to have a little bit of flexibility, but mostly we've got a little process around how to get people engaged on this, but we want to have a little process where we put them into the slots that we want them to come into, not where they do. So we remain or maintain control of our calendar, and the client doesn't. You want to be in control of your calendar. Okay. What else we got here? iPhone and camera, dude. I reckon it's so much easier to grab your camera, hold it in front of you, press record, and record a quick video to a client or to someone. Or if you've got you can't get hold of an underwriter, or you're trying to chase someone up, or you want to talk to a super fund, sometimes it's a lot better to just quickly do a video. So, iPhone camera. That we should be just using cameras more. I've got Loom videos in here and all that as well. Is it a project or is it a process, right? So is it a head thing or is it a hands thing, right? So in my opinion, you as the financial planner, you should be involved in the process. I'll repeat that. You should be involved in the project, right? You should be the head, the person who's thinking, the high-end stuff. You should be involved in creating the project, and then what we do is we hand over the process. We want someone else to get that thing in play. Someone's got to make it up, someone's got to make it real, someone's got to make it happen, and someone's got to make it recur. Please write that down, guys. That's any process or any project. Someone's got to make it up, make it real, make it happen, and make it recur. Normally, the financial planner, we want to be involved is the making it up bit. Then we want someone else to make it real, and maybe you can be a little bit involved in the making it real, but only a quarter involved. Have someone else really making it real. Then we want someone to make it up, make it real. Then we need someone to make it happen. So we want it installed behind the scenes, and then we need someone to make it recur. So it's set up on the automated processes and all the things you've got to do. Right. So that's really, really important there as well. Voice recorder and iPhone, again, same sort of thing in there is multiple outboxes. Okay. Do you get all your emails? Do you get all your, and inboxes? I'll do the same thing here. Do you get all of your emails? Do people send you an email? Do your clients send you an email? What you could do is you could set up, so let's say it was Steve. Let's say I set up a steve@blackwing.com.au. Does steve@blackwing.com.au have to come to me, right? Just because it's got my name on it, right? It doesn't have to physically land in my inbox, because every time an email pops into your inbox, you tell me I'm right or wrong, right? Every time an email pops up in my inbox and I hear that little ding, 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 firstly turn the ding off. We don't want to hear the ding and be looking every time an email pops up. But do I actually have to receive the email? Can that email, even though it's got my name on it, can it go to someone else in the business for them to, 4Ds somewhere here. Can I see the 4Ds? Do it, delegate it. It's in here somewhere, one of them. 4Ds. Sure, it's in there. Okay, might have 51 hacks, because one of them is what we call the 4Ds. That email might come in. It might come to steve@blackwing.com.au, and then that could actually go to my assistant. My assistant's going to do one of four things. JD's going to do one of four things. She's going to do it herself. It's called the 4Ds. She's going to do it herself. She's going to she's going to delegate it. And that could be delegated to me, but it could be delegated to someone else. She's going to decide when. So if it's something that needs to be done, she's going to make a little 15-minute slot in the calendar so she can come and talk to me about it, or we do the thing that needs to get done. She's going to do it herself. She's going to delegate it. She's going to decide when, or she's going to ditch it. If it's something we don't need to see, she's going to unsubscribe from it. She's going to bin it and that sort of thing. And I was getting all of my emails, 60, 70, 80 emails a day. And then when we started this process, I ended up only getting 2 or 3 or 4, or maybe half a dozen, because I got the ones that I needed to see or I needed to act on, or that were delegated to me. And the rest, they all came in, but I just didn't see the darn things. And what that did was free up time and capacity and space for me to go and focus on doing the things that I was meant to do. The high-end income producing, business growth, relationship building, client facing, strategic and technical, the high-end financial planner stuff. Because I wasn't just faffing around with emails that I didn't need to worry about. You're getting hundreds of them, I know you are, right? Dude, I've been there, done that. I've seen it all before, honestly. All right. So yeah, what about me, we, them time? Okay, guys, take control of your calendar is what I'm getting at here. You run if you're self-employed, and even if you're not self-employed, you run your business, right? Then your team are the next important, right? And then thirdly, no matter what people say, then they are third, right? So you cannot have other people running your business, taking control of your business, taking control of your calendar, any of those things. So it's focus on you, it's focus on your team and your business, and then focus on the clients. Now, that I'm not saying that in a rude or a disrespectful way, or we're not going to be nasty to clients, but if we flip that around and we had, if we have them in charge, then we're now beholden to someone else, and someone else is making the decisions in our business, and we don't want that, right? So it's me, we, them time, and think about it in that order. What else we've got here? We've got, I've got bring solutions, not problems, right? So if a team member comes to you, one of the things, someone used to come to my office and say, dude, don't come to me with the problem, come to me with the solution, right? So I want you to, this problem turns up, I want you to think about that, and I want you to say, okay, we could do this thing, we could do that thing, or potentially we could do this other thing. There's 3 viable options we could do here. Don't tell me the problem, tell me the solution, right? And run the solution past me, and I'll give you the, yep, go ahead, here's what you need to do, blah, 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 blah. But don't come to me with a problem and dump a problem on me, because that'll just add to the other 28 problems that I've had from the last 3 weeks, right? So don't come to me with a problem. So again, this is part of culture, this stuff, right? A lot of this is about culture. Guys, say it, send it. So, how many recording apps can you I know for myself, I talk a lot faster than I type. And you're probably getting that, right? I talk a hell of a lot faster than I type. So for me, I'd rather say something and record it and then send it as an attachment, rather than sit there and type out emails and messages and stuff like that all the time. Again, it's the same sort of thing, mouth, not hands. Use your mouth, not your hands, because your mouth is way faster than your hands are. Your mouth will be way faster than your hands are all the time. Daily huddle, really, really important. We have a, is that here as well? So the daily huddle basically is what we call a 10 at 10 past 10, right? Every single day, at 10 minutes past 10, we did it 4 days a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We would stop around in the tribal council area, and the tribal council area was basically where our workflow board was. So we had all of our clients on a board, on a visual board. We had all the process and all the steps in the process where they were in the journey, and we had a little magnet that we could there's something cathartic about being able to move a magnet from one part of the process to the next, to the next, to the next, all the way through to the it's done column. And we would meet at 10 minutes past 10 every single morning, 4 days a week, stand in a circle, no one sat down. If you've got a coffee, bring your coffee with you, bring your notes with you, and we stand up around the tribal council area, and everyone gets 2 minutes on the stopwatch, right? Ready, set, go. 4 questions. How did you go yesterday? Right? What did you get done yesterday? So we can pat you on the back and high five you and give you a fist pump and make you feel good about the work that you've done. What do you got on the go today is question number 2. What will you have finished by the end of today? So tomorrow we can reward you and fist pump you and tell you what a good job you did, or we can ask you how you went. And then 4, is there anything that you're stuck on, anything you need help? So how did you go yesterday? What have you got on the go today? What will you have finished by today? Or who's coming in today? And what we have done by today? And also, where are you stuck? What do you need help with? Okay, so that's what the 10, and it's 2 minutes on the clock. Go, 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 go. 10 minutes later, everyone's gone through. Have a bit of a fist bump at the end, at the air. Everyone knows exactly what everyone's doing. Everyone knows what to kind of look out for tomorrow. If someone was stuck, we had 2 or 3 different people there that you put their hand up and say, hey man, I can help them, or I'm seeing that client tomorrow, or I can send that, or I've got that, or I know where that file is, whatever it happens to be. And yeah, you just go from there. All right, low information diet, we've kind of covered on that. Dude, I want you to go on a diet. It's called a low information diet, right? You don't need to know every single little thing that happens in your business, right? So go on a low information diet. Got to master delegation. That's a whole session in itself. It's this is low information basis. Do I need to know that? So I want your team to be thinking before they tell you or give you something, does Steve need to know that? It's on a need to know basis. Do I need to know that, right? Unplug. While you're doing some important work, turn your mobile phone off, turn your Facebook off, shut down your email software, and actually focus in that lockdown scenario, so unplug. Don't forget to unplug, dude. We're just so distracted with social media and just stuff and the email dinging and all that sort of thing. Draw pictures and concepts. I used to draw a lot of pictures and concepts to hand over to my paraplanner. So rather than typing out everything that I needed to do, I learned how to draw a picture of a financial plan. And I draw the picture for the client. And then we ended up setting up, because my pictures were kind of similar over and over again, we kind of set up a little base template where I mapped out a person's full financial plan with it, sort of using our process, and I was able to draw that in rather than have to type everything up. And I'd draw the picture. We'd have obviously our summary notes, and we'd have all our notes and the compliance stuff. But I was able to draw my paraplanner a picture. Natasha, you know this. Ashley, you know this. Jason, you know this. Chanel, you know all this, right? We used to be able to draw a picture of what we wanted the financial plan to look at, and so we can just give it to the paraplanner. They got to learn what we did over a period of time. And they had a visual of what we wanted the thing to end up looking at. So draw pictures and stuff like that. Template everything, dude. If it's worth repeating, it's worth templating. If you do something and you think you could potentially have to do it again, fucking template it. Just keep it and file save as it somewhere so you don't have to keep retyping the same thing. Guys, if you want to know about any of these things, or you want a little bit more detail on it, just type me in. Just type me into the question box. Just put a capital Q and a semicolon there for Q for question, and just ask me a question about any of these, and I'll jump in and I'll follow it up with a little bit more detail or whatever. And also, if you want the worksheet that we're kind of working through here, right? So you can see the worksheet that we've been working through. If you'd like a copy of the worksheet, it's either type in the word worksheet underneath, or don't forget to click the little download button underneath there. Okay. Letters of authority. So one of the things we did, we had a letter of authority created, and there was a place for the client signature to give us letter of authority so we could talk to the product provider. But then we had my signature, and we also had someone else's signature in the office as well. So what that allowed us to do, if I didn't have to ring up the super fund to find out the superannuation details, because Ashley or Danielle or whoever it was that we had signed on there, well, I'm calling, following up on policy number, blah, 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 blah. We sent through the letter of authority. You can see I've signed, client signed it, and I've signed it down the bottom. Can you give me the information, please? So rather than have your signature down the bottom, you want to have someone else's who you authorize to ring up the product provider on your behalf, so that you don't have to do it. You can focus on the other things. Don't be the expert. I used to position, I don't want people to think that I knew everything. Now, I probably did know quite a lot, right? I probably knew more than most people in my business, but I didn't want myself to be the expert. I positioned, with my clients in particular, I positioned everyone around me as the expert, right? So, and what I made sure was that yes, we built the relationship, but I also made sure they build the relationship with other people in my business as well. So if there's a three-way loop, and I step out of that loop, well, there's still two-way communication. I don't need to be in every single loop. You guys can just talk to each other, and I'm happy to kind of back out back out of it that way as well. So that's what Don't Be the Expert is. Text Expander and Otter. You know, Otter's amazing. I've been using that a hell of a lot. I've used it for years, actually. Just probably I don't know if I was the first adopter, but I was a fairly early adopter of it. If I'm saying something or recording something or videoing something, I just turn on Otter and it does a transcription of exactly what I do. Now, then what I do is I give that to my VA. She gets the recording of what I've done, goes through it real quick and just checks the spelling, and it doesn't really break up paragraphs as well as I'd like it to. So breaks up the paragraphs, and then I've got the file note done and whatever it happens to be. Outsourcing, everyone sort of knows. Guys, notice, guys, what I want you to understand here, guys, I want you to notice how much money does any of this cost. This is important. Now, I'm not downplaying automation and technology and CRMs and all that. I'm not downplaying any of that because they are so important. They're critical in your business. But these are productivity hacks. And I'm just thinking out loud here, every single one that I've gone through costs no money. There is no money involved. Maybe Upwork or Fiverr is the only one that's going to cost any money whatsoever. These are just little things that you can do today, right? You can do these things today. And they're simple when you've got a bit of an idea of how to do them. Loom and Jing capture videos I spoke to you about before. Get a boss. JD, my assistant, is my boss. She basically tells me what to do. This client's coming in. Don't forget this thing here. You've got this at 2 o'clock. Don't forget. Have you got that other thing ready? She is my boss. So get yourself a boss. So someone, I want you to knight someone in your business and make them your boss. Give them the autonomy. Give your team the autonomy to be your boss. You know, screenshots. Take screenshots rather than redrawing everything. Just take a damn screenshot. You know, that's that sort of thing. Oh, this is a lot of people ask me about this one. Vomit, polish, mutate, right? So it's basically what vomit means is if there's something that needs to be done, like a marketing thing or a flyer, or you want to run a workshop or a seminar or a webinar, or you want to do a video or something like that. What I want you to do first is I want you to just vomit it out. Just get it out. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter how it sounds. It doesn't matter if it's in order, whatever it happens to be. I want you to just vomit it out. Get it out of your head and down on paper, or, you know, I like paper, or I like my iPad, right? But, you know, even if you get it out onto a screen, right? So I want you to vomit it out. Then I want you to polish it, and then mutating it is getting it out to wherever it's got to go, right? Vomit, polish, mutate. Because what's happening is, if you don't do that, people are spending too much time on the polish bit, right? We're spending all our time trying to polish everything up, right? And we spend all that time on there, and then a day later or 2 days or a week later, nothing's actually got out there. So just get the thing out. Once you've got it out in raw form, then you can kind of polish it up a little bit, and then bam, we can mutate it and get it to leverage, okay? Core versus mechanics. Okay, is it a core function of the business, or is it a mechanics part of the business? That's kind of where that activity audit, that activity assessment comes in. Is it a core income producing activity, or is it just a function of the business? Or is it a part of the mechanics? Guys, I hope these are helping, and I hope you're getting these and saying, hey, you know, I could do some of these things. I could do that. I've been meant to do that. I could install that as well. Oh, I know. I never heard of that before. You know, that's what these productivity hacks are all about. Give homework, then favors. Really important one, guys. I don't understand why you, as a $350 an hour financial planner, say to your client, oh, just give me that. I'll do that for you. Oh, I'll chase that up for you. Oh, I'll call him for you. I'll ask your payroll for you. We'll do that for you. I'll chase that super. You're getting all the homework. Dude, don't take all the homework, right? You give clients the homework. Let them do the work. Get them involved. Get them to buy in to the process, and then maybe do some favors to make it easier for them, okay? You know, otherwise you're stuck doing all the work. And again, most of that work is a $30 an hour job, not a $300 an hour job. Email, right? I'm able to send emails, but I don't really want to receive. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier as well. So do you need to be the one that receives all the emails? No, you don't, but I want to be able to send them when I want to, right? So that sort of thing. And this kind of comes into a secret squirrel email. So I talked to you about, you know, I just made it up, but it's not actually this, so don't bother sending this email. But, you know, I said steve@blackwing.com.au, so that would be my email, and that would go to someone else. But what I'd actually have is what I call my secret squirrel email, a little other email which I don't give to anyone. I give it to my family, I give it to my friends, I give it to the guys I go to the football with, I give it to my fishing mates, and I give it to my guys I play golf with. That's all. They've got my secret squirrel email, and that's the only email that only I can see. The other one, it's not, that's public, and it doesn't physically need to go to me because your assistant can do it, delegate it, decide when or ditch it. Work hard once. This is a good one. Again, this comes back to sort of if it's worth repeating, it's worth templating. If you do something and you do it well and you spend a little bit of time on that, save the darn thing. Save it so that you can use it again, whatever it happens to be. It could be a PowerPoint, it could be a flyer, it could be an email that you've drafted up. It could be an overview email or whatever it happens to be. I want you to save them, and especially if it's an email, save them up in your signatures. You don't need to save it on a Word doc. If it's an email, if you've done a really cool email and you say, hey, that was a good email, do a save. I don't know how you do. I don't think you do file save as, but save it to your signatures. So then next time you need to do an email that's fairly similar to that, you can just drop down your signatures and say, right, okay, bam, that one there, that's the one I want. Click that and the email will pop up, and you might even just take out the name and the address and the date and all that sort of thing, and just have a few things that you need to fill in without having to retype or rethink of the entire email again. So save them, emails in particular, save them up in your signatures, and you can just drop them down as you go. I used to have about 60, probably got 20, 25 now, but when I was financial planning, I had about 60 different emails saved up in my signatures. So I never had to retype any email whatsoever. It was like, okay, I've got one of those. Oh, bam, yeah, that's the one. Bam, click, signature, everything drops in, populates the email, change the thing, change this here, tweak up a couple of little words, and I've only got to do 10% of the email rather than 100%. Again, little productivity hacks. SMS, not calls. It's amazing how many times, you tell me, guys, tell me, how many times you make a phone call and it goes to voicemail, or they see your name pop up and they don't answer it. Dude, you send an SMS, you'll get a response back in minutes, right? A couple of tools that we use, the delegation filter and the unique method. They're whole sessions in themselves. Again, don't take on homework. 50-10 sprints. One of the slides I showed you before was the sprint. So what it is basically out of an hour, we break things up into, rather than trying to run a marathon all day, we break the day up into 50-minute sprints. So it's sprint for 50 minutes and then have a break for 10 minutes. Go to the toilet, check your Facebook, check your LinkedIn, check your emails, get a glass of water, go and make a coffee, go and say good day to the team or whatever, and then go back and get back. If you're not finished yet, go back for another 50 minutes. You can't sprint. You can't. It's hard to concentrate on a strategic financial plan or the summary of a financial or some technical analysis for 2, 3, 4 hours. Your brain gets fried. So focus on 50 and then have a break for 10. Refresh yourself, re-energize, rehydrate. Go for another 50 and go like that. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, I reckon that's an ideal week. 2 meet and greets, 2 fact finds, 2 planned presentations, and 2 reviews, and one of those reviews uncovering either new business or a referral. I reckon that's a pretty good KPI for a financial planner that's going to keep you motivated and excited and not going to burn you out. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 is a pretty good formula. Make sure you use meeting agendas. Every single meeting that you do should commence with an agenda so people know exactly what is going on in the meeting, what the process is going to be. They don't take you off on tangents. We get them to agree to the agenda and we follow the agenda, number one. But number two, you become the man or you become the woman with the plan, right? So if the person who makes the rules wins the game, and the person with the agenda basically makes the rules for the appointment, right? So if you've got the agenda, you're basically making the rules. So you can lead and they will follow because you're the one with the agenda. Detailed job descriptions I mentioned earlier. I talked about the 80-20 rule, that 80-20 $300 an hour job versus $30 an hour job. We want to flip that around. We need you to be doing 60, 70, 80% of $300 an hour jobs, and we only want 20 or 30 because you can't physically eliminate it completely. There's stuff you have to do, right? But we only want it to be 20 or 30%. Online calendar, we want to take an entire process out of your business by allowing people to make their own appointments rather than you having to do it. Online calendars, everyone watching this, everyone should have an online calendar by now, but if you haven't, it's just in time versus just in case. Are we preparing things, or are we making things up, or are we reading things just in case we need it down the track? Are we creating templates because we might need it one day? Or is it a now issue that we need to do? So it's either just in time, is it just in case or just in time, right? We want to focus on the just in time things. I need it now, right? These are the things I need to do now. You don't need to be, I see so many financial planners, guys, I see them spending hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and months on their back end processes. And then I ask them, how many clients have you got in the funnel and then through the filtered funnel and into the pipeline? And they say, well, hardly any. Oh, I haven't got many. No, you know, I've got one or a couple. I've got a review appointment. I'm full of reviews, but I've got new clients coming through. You're spending all this time on the back end and there's no one going through it, right? So guys, forget the back end. Fill the front of the funnel first and put some pressure on the back end model. It's amazing what you get done when you've got a little bit of pressure coming through the system. But the reason that you've got no new business and you're not growing your business is because you're spending all the time in the back end, all right? Sales aids and visuals, you know, create those things. Client kits. So what you want to do, if you guys should all have a client kit. You guys all should have a client kit, right? Let's just do this. Team, you should all have something like this, a client kit. Where the client's name goes on. Is it going to get focused? Client's name goes on. It's got the lackey band. There's a certain amount of what do you call them? Paper clips. There somewhere. Come on. Right, you can see them there. Why aren't you focusing? Right. There's a certain amount of paper clips and all of the things that you need for a client appointment are in this. And this goes around with the client from start to finish. But there's everything that you need in this kit. So sometimes it's like, we need this letter of authority. Oh, I haven't got one of those. I'll get that. I'll have to send that back out to you. Or I need this information here. Or I need to take a fee. Oh, I haven't got that. We'll chase you up. And then you end up in the chasing game. If you've got everything you need in a little kit like this, every tool that you need, right? And you never get stuck or never get caught without. Go analog rather than digital. Like, you know, I'm an analog type of guy. You can see me writing and drawing and stuff like that. You know, I don't think any breakthroughs happen on a computer screen. I really don't. So, you know, most things happen on paper. I've got a big roll of brown, big massive roll of brown paper. I've got my Sharpie markers up there. You know, everything happens like on paper. No breakthroughs are done on a computer screen. I mentioned this before, make it up, make it real, make it happen and make it recur. And, you know, you need to learn. So again, from a team point of view, you need to learn why and what, but you don't need to know the how. You don't need to be told every single thing about the how, about everything that happens in the back end. That's someone else's job. It's not part of that high-end activity. All right. So team, that's a real quick run through of the 50 productivity hacks. And like I said, there's hardly any of those whatsoever. Even just looking at them, there might be one or two that potentially could cost a little bit of money. The rest of it, it's they're really simple and really easy to do. Things that you can implement really, really quickly, and you can do them. You can delegate them, or you know, you can get them to be ditched or whatever it happens to be. But the first thing is that you know, we've got to identify, if I just go back and summarize, right? Yeah, do your activity assessment, and then what you want to do is go through and figure out what is the actual drag, so you can get that sort of into your head and know exactly what the problem is. Then you want to come up with an alternative or two or three, and then you want to say, right, of those couple of options, I'm going to take that option and go from there, okay? All right, so crew, guys, look, here's the thing. So, guys, do you get it? Does that make sense? I know I've gone through it quick, and you know, it's not about you. You're not going to, you're not going to be able to implement all of these things right now, straight away. But the thing is, team, when you do this, right? When you do it, and when you do it well, you will improve your productivity dramatically, right? You'll get more of the right things done. You'll get them done in less time. And you'll also, importantly, you'll get it done with less input from you, right? A lot of that was systemization and process, and so that you don't have to keep doing those repetitive tasks. No cost involved, a little bit of time to set it up, but once it's done, it's part of the process. You'll stay out of overwhelm, you'll avoid procrastination, and you'll show up consistently, and you'll be able to do your best work and the things that you're meant to be doing rather than the things that you've been caught doing over a period of time. So team, here's the thing. So at the back of your, let's just do a little bit of a game plan. And I think, we've just gone over just over an hour. So hopefully this has been valuable. If you've had some value, guys, just type me in a thanks or a great or a yep or a product, or a it's been helpful or just something like that, just to let me know that you've got some value. If you've got any questions, don't forget, just put your little question and type in a question, and I'll expand on it. And I might even dish out a few of the actual templates as well. And again, if you want the worksheet, you didn't get one, and you want that list of productivity hacks, just put in the word worksheet, and we'll make sure you get the link. But let's just think about a little bit of a game plan, okay? So here's what I want you to do following this session. Number one, I want you to just basically jot down your top 3 drags. So I want you to do the activity assessment and then figure out what are your top 3 drags that are getting you down. I want you to then figure out, do that worksheet, right? What's the impact that thing is having on one of your currencies, on money, on time, on flexibility, on freedom, on stress levels, on productivity? What's the big impact, or the few biggest impacts? And then I want you to say, right, okay, the action item, the alternative I've got is this, and what's the action item you're going to do? I just want you to take from today, take one thing that you're going to do better or different and change as part of your productivity, okay? And if you do that, I reckon you'll be absolutely golden, right? So, dude, if you want to have a chat about this, and you're watching this, if you're watching this on my website, just type in the word productivity chat underneath this video. If you want to have a chat about your productivity, you want some ideas, if you want to see some of the tools that I showed you, all of those 50 productivity hacks, they've got a little system or a process that go with them. I won't say every single one. Most of them have got some tool that goes with it as well. So if you just want to have a chat, just chat me underneath the video, which is sweet. Alternatively, if you're watching this either on the replay or if you're watching this on my website, I've got a little questionnaire underneath where the download is. You'll see it on the right-hand side there. And just says, if you're ready to free up your time and capacity, I've got a little questionnaire. Go through, fill in the details, tell me a little bit about where you're at, tell me what you need most, and we'll jump on a quick call, 15, 20 minutes, have a little bit of a chat, see where you're at, and I'll just be able to say, hey, you might be able to do this, you might be able to do this other thing, and here, have this tool, and you can kind of have it. And I'll sort of give that as a bit of a thank you for taking part and watching this video. All right, team, I think that's good. Hook me up on LinkedIn if you want to have a chat. I'm pretty much in there every day, so hook me up like lots of other financial planners do. I think let's call this productivity hacks session done. Let's call it dusted, and look forward to chatting to you real soon. Have a great week. Have a great Easter. I'm feeling fresh. It was my birthday yesterday, so I'm in a pretty good mood today. So I hope you're in a great mood too. Okay, take good care. I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.